Hey guys, this is AnimeBallZ here, and today we're going to be doing the first part of a new What If Deku had the quirk efficient. I just want to say I will be starting to continue many other What Ifs that I didn't manage to continue in the past. I will be continuing those instead of just making new ones, so expect stuff like that. There's nothing much I want to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jit. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
In this What If, Deku will have a concept quirk. The whole basis of this quirk is kind of based on something I saw on Reddit, but I added to it and took some of the features away. The whole basis is that his body is always at peak condition. Deku does not have the natural limiter where the body's overall physical ability is suppressed, so he will always be at maximum capacity. His body always returns back to normal from abnormalities. What I mean is, for example, if he gets fat, he'll end up burning the fat extremely fast by doing pretty much nothing. If he wants to gain muscle, for example, because of his enhanced stamina and way faster muscle growth and healing, he grows much faster and better from one exercise. Also, he can always grow stronger. There isn't a limit and he doesn't get any of the negative effects from that. He is also given way more body control. For the limitless strength, think of it as a Saiyan where they can always get stronger if they train. I also did some research and it says that we don't use all of our muscle strength because we don't use all of the muscle cells we can. This is because the brain can't take these many messages at once, so Deku will be able to have full access to way more of his muscle cells, making him significantly stronger. From this, if Deku concentrates enough, he can gain access to more and more muscle cells, doubling his power each time. Also, when this happens, his eyes start to glow green. This shows that he is in a physical enhancement, with the first physical enhancement doubling his power, the second physical enhancement quadrupling his power, and so on. So Deku will believe he's quirkless until he is a little older. When Deku is protecting the kid that's getting bullied by Bakugou, he doesn't take it lightly. Deku, when he starts getting angry, his eyes start to glow green, then he grows more prominent muscles. Deku runs right across the playground with speeds of 75 miles per hour. This means that he is a complete blur to Bakugou and all of his lackeys. He punches Bakugou, which breaks his ribs, and then again in quick succession, making Bakugou fly into some monkey bars. The Demon Wing kid turns to Deku, but then Deku quickly counters with an elbow to the kid's stomach, which launches the kid off of his feet. Deku lands an uppercut on the other kid and launches him up and off his feet. Deku blitzes over to Bakugou with glowing green eyes. Deku clenches his fists and says, "I'll kill you." Bakugou gulps and starts limping away as fast as he can. After this, he zooms to the other kid, then his eyes stop glowing, then he gets up the kid and says, "Are you okay?" He says, "Yeah." "Deku, your quirk is so cool." Deku says, "Really?" "Yeah, it's super cool, just like All Might's." Deku smiles and starts tearing up. After this, Deku gets his quirk checked up and the doctor starts to explain his quirk. Your quirk is called efficient. This quirk is pretty complicated and it gives you insane physical ability. Your body has taken off most of the physical restrictions of the body. The strength in an adrenaline rush is your day-to-day strength. But this isn't all, because your brain can handle way more muscle cell information. Your normal strength is more like 3 to 4 times the strength of what you should be. This puts your strength on the level of 3 trained athletes in newtons. But you also have a technique where if you concentrate or feel an intense rage, your eyes glow your eye color, then your physical ability is doubled. Because of your quirk, you grow muscle strength much faster through working out, and you also have no limit, meaning you could eventually grow past even All Might in strength if you train hard enough. Deku starts to feel really happy from this statement, then the doctor continues with the explaining. Also, because of your peak physical condition, you will live much longer, about twice as long. It says here that if your power is trained enough, you can become astronomically stronger. Where pretty much all of the limiters are gone, you will be extremely strong. Deku is elated, and so is his mother Inko. After this, Deku starts training very hard because he knows of his limitless power. And now he has somewhat control of his first body enhancement. Basically, this is like an adrenaline rush for him. When he uses his form, he doesn't remember much and can't talk. Deku at the end of Aldera Junior High is a beast. His healing has gotten so much faster that his body doesn't make scabs anymore for moderately sized cuts. It doesn't need to. Deku has also learned several martial arts techniques to back his physical prowess. Instead of everyone believing Deku isn't really enough for UA, Deku is one of the most popular in the school. He's up there with Bakugou because where Deku is right now, he could easily take down Bakugou or kill him in one or a few hits. His top speed is so fast that no one can see him, so when he fights, you can't react, it just happens. Bakugou has gained real hatred for Deku, and from this, he's also been training his quirk. Today, he's going to challenge him. After the last day of Aldera Junior High, Bakugou and his lackeys confront Deku. Deku is more confident but somewhat humble, so when he sees all of this happening, he doesn't think much of it. Deku closes his hero notebook, then stands. Bakugou is a little intimidated, but his anger and pride consumes him. Bakugou says, "You will die for humiliating me time and time again." Deku appears right in front of Bakugou with the fist right in his face. Deku says, "Don't try it." Bakugou screams and tries to explode Deku, but in the time the explosion is about to ignite, Deku turns Bakugou's hand towards himself. Bakugou goes flying back from his own explosion and destroys tables and chairs in the way. Deku then clenches his fist and uses the first physical enhancement. Deku's eyes start to glow green, then he appears right in front of Bakugou. Deku gives off a tired sigh and says, "You're not on my level yet." Deku pulls Bakugou up, then kicks him right through the wall into another classroom, knocking him out. Deku turns and the lackeys just run for their lives. As you can see from this, Deku is much stronger than in the series. When Deku is walking home, he still does get encountered by the Sludge villain. He still does get sneaked up on though, since his sensory skills are barely enhanced. Deku quickly rips out of the Sludge with ease and turns to see what he's up against. Deku clenches his fists and concentrates as much as he can. He activates the first physical enhancement. Deku runs at speeds much higher than in the series, and his sheer speed destroys the Sludge villain into pieces. Deku stops focusing and eventually calms down. Deku sees All Might, then All Might quickly confines the Sludge villain before he reforms and escapes. All Might says, "You did good here, kid." Deku says shakily, "All Might?" Deku opens his notebook promptly and says, "Please can I have an autograph?" He looks down at the notebook and sees that it's already signed. Deku is elated and All Might sees himself out. Deku is so happy to see him and his power because when the doctor said he could even surpass All Might, his whole purpose now in his mind is to surpass him physically, so he's constantly training. When he continues walking, he sees an injured Bakugou being attacked by the Sludge villain. Deku instantly realizes that the Sludge villain could do what he's trying to do with ease since Bakugou is already very weak. This is because of the fight that they just had. Deku quickly makes a plan. He knows that the Sludge villain can't hold from fast attacks with immense strength, so he tries an idea. He concentrates the first physical enhancement into just his arm, but it ends up being concentrated through his chest, a bit of his neck, and upper right leg. He doesn't have that much control yet. He runs at immense speed, then punches the Sludge villain, not Bakugou, then the Sludge villain goes flying off of Bakugou into pieces. All Might arrives and says, "Once again you've proved yourself, kid." Deku says, "Thank you." After all the people have already left, after taking their pictures of All Might, recalling him, asking questions, etc., Deku is about to leave and All Might says, "What's your quirk, kid?" Deku looks back, then looks back round and says, "Mine?" All Might says, "Yeah." Deku says, "Well, it's called efficient. It basically removes most of the physical limiters on the human body. I also have physical enhancements where if I concentrate enough, my body can double in power by using more muscle cells." All Might says in his head, this could actually work. All Might says, "I believe you can enhance your body's power in parts of the body when concentrating hard enough, yes?" Deku says, "Yes, I can only control until about half of my body is double in power. It's actually a little easier to only enhance half of my power than all of it, but below one half it gets hard to control." All Might says, "You really have shown your worth today. I believe you should inherit my power. It's called One for All. It can be passed down to different people." After All Might explaining One for All and all, Deku is a little reluctant since he wants to single-handedly surpass All Might, but he still accepts. After this, in the series, Deku would be training his body to handle One for All, but in this series, his physical power is way more than enough. This means he has way more time to use One For All and learn how to control it. Because of Deku's durability and healing, it strains his body after a few uses, but it never really breaks his arm or finger or something like that. He has also learned to control the first physical enhancement into just his arm, where it does more than double strength but actually 3 times strength in the arm. This actually strains his arm quite a bit, with leaving a great deal of pain and moderate injuries, and also he's become way more physically able since he can grow his physical power much faster. Let's do some scaling because I really like doing these kind of things. So Deku, when he first activated his quirk when he's a child, he had running speeds of 75 miles per hour with the first physical enhancement. I'll put the scaling in the description in meters per second, miles per hour and kilometers per hour to give everyone an understanding of how fast he is. Deku is about 5 times faster now. Remember, he has no limit and he'll always be getting stronger because he's always training and working out. So this means he can run at 187.5 miles per hour, and with the first physical enhancement he can run at 375 miles per hour. Now let's get right into the UA entrance exam. Deku is a little popular because he did save someone and everyone was astonished with his speed. Also, he will be more good looking and attractive towards girls because of his muscular build and more confident personality. I wouldn't say it's a harem, but he is on his way there. When he's walking into UA, he does still fall like in the series and is introduced to Uraraka through her saving him. Deku thanks her and Uraraka wishes him good luck in the exam. Now let's get into the practical exam. After the explaining, he has been strategizing and has a good strategy. When the gates open, he starts running, and to him, everyone's running in slow motion. Deku just jumps over everyone and finds the first robot. He uses one punch and completely destroys the robot. Deku smiles and says, "This will be easier than I thought." Because of his speed, he is wiping out robots with ease, left and right, one punch destroying them. Deku gains about 33 villain points when Uraraka gets caught under the robot. I know he will probably be getting much more villain points from the speed he's going at, but plot always finds its way. Deku quickly zooms over to Uraraka and notices the huge robot. Deku smiles and clenches his fist. He closes his eyes and his arm starts to vibrate. He starts using the first physical enhancement in his arm, then he jumps up the wall. He launches off of the wall with One For All, then lands a powerful and speedy hit on the robot's head. Unlike the series where Deku just makes a big dent in the robot and takes it down, Deku just straight up decapitates the robot. Just like that. Deku lands on the robot's body, then slides down until he lands safely. He goes to Uraraka and pulls her out from the robot ruins. He says, "Are you okay?" She says, "I'm good." Deku says, "Good, good." Deku gets her up, then zooms away to get a little more villain points before the timer ends. Deku ends up getting these points. He gets 60 rescue points and 50 villain points, giving him an enormous 110 points, putting him well above Bakugou, who was first place before. Deku makes a name for himself after this, and Deku wasn't even going 100%. Deku is very happy to have been accepted into UA, and he's going to try very hard to keep himself at the top. All Might congratulates Deku at the beach and also notes that he kinda saw it coming. Deku then starts talking about something he's been thinking of. All Might says, "Yes." Deku says, "What if I use the first physical enhancement and One For All in my arm at the same time?" All Might says, "I personally say you don't do that, kid. If both One For All, which does strain and give you minor injuries, and the enhancement, which does give moderate injury and pain, that much power together could break your arm." Deku says, "Okay, I guess you're right." So that will conclude the first part of what if Deku had the quirk efficient. The like goal for this video will be 90 likes, more than normal, but I think we can beat it this time. As I told you in the video, all of the scaling speeds will be in the description in meters per second, miles per hour and kilometers per hour. If you like this part, then you can like and put in the comments something that you liked about the what if or something that I should improve on for the next part. If you really like this what if, then you can subscribe and put on post notifications to be told when the next parts of these what ifs will be made with great accuracy. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.